Okay, so manifestation. It's kind of hard to avoid these days, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere.
Yeah, like vision boards all over Instagram,
hmm
people doing affirmations on TikTok,
Yeah.
attracting their perfect life.
hmm
And you got to wonder, right? Is this actually real?
hmm
Or is it just hype?
That is the question, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. It's
Yeah.
so popular, but sometimes it feels, well, a bit thin, maybe?
Right.
So yeah, for this deep dive, we're looking seriously at it. We're pulling from ancient Vedic wisdom, but also looking at neuroscience and even quantum physics,
Wow. Okay. So a broad scope.
trying to figure out what's really going on beneath the surface.
And I think our main idea starting out is that it's not quite magic, like not waving a wand.
No, not exactly. It seems to be more about alignment. That's the word that keeps coming up.
Alignment. Okay.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that both these ancient texts and, modern science seem to point to this link between our inner state, what's going on inside us, and what shows up out there.
Our outer reality.
Precisely. So we're going to break down what that alignment really means. What are the core pieces of manifestation according to our sources?
Okay.
And then we'll look at these different viewpoints, Vedic, neuroscience, quantum, and see how they kind of fit together or where they overlap.
And maybe give us some practical stuff, too. Things you can actually use.
That's the plan. Practical insights.
Great. So where do we start? What are those core components you mentioned?
Well, fundamentally, our sources boil it down to three things: attention, emotion, and belief.
Okay. Attention, emotion, belief.
Yeah. So, like, where you put your focus that seems to gather energy.
It makes sense.
Then, how you feel your emotions, they act almost like a magnet, pulling things toward you.
Uh-huh.
And finally, what you truly deep down believe that shapes how you even see the world, how you react to things.
Got it. Focus, feeling, conviction.
That's a good summary. Now, let's maybe start with the Vedic angle, because it's ancient but really foundational.
Okay, the Vedic perspective.
Hmm.
These are ancient Indian texts, right?
Exactly. And they don't just suggest manifestation is possible. They state it as like a basic law of how the universe works.
The universal law, right?
They talk about Brahman, this idea that everything, the whole universe isn't just matter, it's fundamentally consciousness.
So not just empty space with objects, but a living field.
A living, intelligent field of energy, yeah?
Yeah.
And we're part of it, not separate from it.
That's a pretty big shift from how we usually think.
It really is. And within that, the Rig Veda talks about something called Ritam.
Really, Tom?
Yeah. Think of it as the universe's own intelligence, its internal rhythm or order that keeps everything running smoothly, like a cosmic operating system. And the insight here is if you can align your own mind, your speech, your actions with that universal flow, with Ritam.
Then things happen more easily.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Effortlessly, almost. It's about flow, not force. Less struggling against the current.
I like that idea. It resonates with those times when things just seem to click,
Precisely. And then there's the concept of Sankalpa.
Sankalpa. I've heard that term, maybe in yoga.
Yeah, often used in Yoga Nidra. It's not just a casual wish like, I want a new car. It's deeper. It's a heartfelt intention.
Heartfelt.
Yeah, born from real clarity, maybe even a sense of devotion. And the idea is, if you form this sankalpa when your mind is in a pure, balanced state, they call it sattvic,
Sattvic. Okay.
and you kind of infuse it with the power of mantra, it can actually influence reality. It can make things happen.
So, mantra, meditation, keeping your mind clear. These are tools for that alignment, for connecting with Ritam.
That's exactly the idea. Tools to tune into that field.
There's that quote you mentioned earlier from the Upanishads,
Ah, yes. Yad bhavam tad bhavati.
which means,
As is your feeling, so is your experience. Or, as you feel, so you become. It just nails that idea, doesn't it? Your inner state creates your outer world.
it really does. Wow. Okay, so that's the ancient wisdom. How does modern science stack up? Let's talk neuroscience.
Right. Now, obviously, neuroscientists aren't typically using the word manifestation.
Probably not.
But they are finding mechanisms in the brain that show how our internal states really do shape our experience of reality. Take the reticular activating system, the RAS.
The RAS. Okay, what does that do?
Think of it like your brain's bouncer, or maybe a filter.
Okay.
There's so much information flooding our senses constantly, right?
Right.
The RAS filters it, deciding what gets your conscious attention. And guess what it prioritizes?
What you're already focused on, what you believe.
Exactly. It prioritizes information that matches your dominant beliefs and your current focus.
Oh, give me an example.
Sure. The source uses love. If you genuinely believe deep down, I'm unlucky in love, Your RAS will unconsciously highlight every little thing that confirms that. You'll notice the couples arguing, the friend who got ghosted.
Right. You see evidence for it everywhere.
But if you start intentionally shifting that belief, maybe affirming I am open to and attracting deep love, your RAS starts. Well, it starts looking for that. It primes your perception.
So you start noticing the happy couples, the opportunities for connection.
You might, yeah. Even before anything external has actually changed, your perception of reality starts shifting because your brain is filtering differently. You're telling your RAS what channel to tune into.
So managing your focus literally changes what you notice and experience. That's actually a form of manifestation, isn't it? In a way.
In a very real neurological way, yes. And then there's neuroplasticity.
The brain changing itself.
Exactly. And Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together.
Read that one.
It basically means the more you think a certain thought or feel a certain way, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. You're physically carving that pattern into your brain.
So if you're constantly thinking thoughts of lack.
You strengthen the lack pathways, but the good news is it works the other way too.
With positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Affirmations.
Yeah.
Visualizations.
Yes. If you consistently focus on abundance, gratitude, success, you're literally rewiring your brain to support that reality. Those old limiting beliefs aren't set in stone.
Which connects back to the Vedic idea of mantra repetition, japa.
Doesn't it just, it's like they knew intuitively what neuroscience is now showing us physically. Repeated focus changes the brain.
Amazing. What about brainwaves?
Right, so brainwave states are key too, especially alpha and theta states.
Those are the slower ones, like when you're relaxed or meditating.
Exactly. Deep meditation, right before sleep, even during childhood. These are times when we're often in alpha or theta. And in these states, the subconscious mind is much more open, more receptive to suggestion.
So that's why things like affirmations before bed or setting that Sankalpa during Yoga Nidra can be so powerful.
Precisely. You're bypassing the analytical, critical conscious mind, the part that might say, oh, that's impossible, and planting those seeds directly into the subconscious.
Planting new beliefs.
Exactly. And speaking of beliefs influencing us deeply, we should touch on epigenetics.
Okay, epigenetics. This is about how genes get expressed, right? Not changing the genes themselves, but
influencing which ones get turned on or off. And Dr. Bruce Lipton's work is really highlighted here.
What does he say?
Essentially that our beliefs, especially when they're consistent and carry strong emotion, act like chemical signals.
Signals to ourselves.
Yes. These signals can actually tell our genes whether to activate or stay dormant. It's profound.
So our thoughts and feelings aren't just in our heads, they're impacting our biology.
Down to the genetic level, potentially. It means we're not just victims of our DNA. We are, as the source puts it, co-authors of our biology.
Wow. That shifts things. Okay, so we have the brain filtering reality, rewiring itself, being receptive in certain states, and even our thoughts potentially influencing genes. What about quantum physics? This always feels like the most out there part.
It definitely stretches the mind. But quantum physics fundamentally changed our understanding of reality at the smallest scales. It's not solid and fixed down there.
It's more probabilistic, potential.
Exactly. And the key concept here is the observer effect.
Right. Particles exist in like multiple possibilities at once until we look.
Basically, yes. They're in a state of superposition, all potential states coexisting until an active observation or measurement happens. Then the wave function collapses and the particle sort of chooses a definite state.
And the implication is that consciousness, observation itself, plays a role.
That's the interpretation that connects strongly here. And our source draws a parallel to a Vedic idea, Chitti Shakti.
Chitti Shakti.
The universe's creative intelligence, using awareness or consciousness to collapse energy into actual form. It's this idea that awareness isn't passive, it's creative.
So our focused attention, our intention. It's like our personal version of that observer effect, maybe influencing the quantum field around us.
That's the speculative leap, but it's a compelling one, and there is research hinting at this. Groups like the HeartMath Institute, Dr. Joe Dispenza.
What does their research show?
They've shown, or claim to show, that focused intention combined with strong, elevated emotions like gratitude or love can create measurable changes in energy field.
Measurable changes.
Yes. And you also have Dr. Masaru Emoto's work with water crystals.
The messages in water guy.
Right. Now, the interpretation of that work is debated for sure. But the underlying suggestion, which aligns with the others, is that our thoughts and feelings aren't just private. They have energy. They're potentially a creative force.
So our inner world isn't contained. It radiates out.
That's the implication. It's a powerful thought, but it leads to the big question.
If all this is true, Vedic wisdom, neuroscience, quantum hints, why doesn't manifestation just work all the time for everyone?
Yeah.
Why do people still struggle?
Excellent question. And the sources are clear. It's not always straightforward. There are reasons why it might seem like it's not working. One huge one is subconscious blocks.
The stuff we're not even aware of.
Exactly. Remember, the subconscious mind is running the show like 95% of the time. So you can consciously want abundance, affirm it all day long.
But if deep down you believe you're unworthy or that money is bad.
Bingo. That subconscious program, that conflicting belief is likely going to win out. It's like 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So how do you deal with those blocks? You can't just tell them to go away.
No, you usually have to go deeper. And the source suggests tools that bridge these worlds again. Mantra meditation is huge here.
Like the Shri mantra for abundance.
Mm.
Or Om.
Exactly. Using those sounds to reprogram the subconscious vibrationally. Also things like mirror work, affirming positive beliefs to yourself while looking in the mirror. And emotional clearing techniques.
Like EFT tapping.
Yeah, emotional freedom techniques. Ways to release the emotional charge attached to those limiting beliefs, dissolving the inner resistance.
Okay, subconscious blocks. What else gets in the way?
Another key factor is what the Vedas call vikpa. It basically means inner noise, scattered energy, distraction, a vibrational mismatch.
Vibrational mismatch. Explain that.
Okay, so you might be saying the words, I am wealthy, I am abundant.
Right.
But if, while you're saying them, your underlying feeling is panic about bills, or envy of someone else, or just general anxiety.
You're sending mixed signals.
Totally mixed signals. The universe, or energy, or whatever you want to call it, responds to your frequency. And emotion is frequency. If your frequency is scattered or feelful, that's what gets reflected back, regardless of the positive words.
So it's not just thinking the thought, it's feeling the feeling, embodying it.
You have to embody the frequency of what you want to attract. That coherence is crucial.
Got it. Coherence. And there was one more factor.
Yes, and it's often overlooked, the nervous system.
How does the nervous system play into manifestation?
Think about it. Your nervous system's primary job is to keep you safe. If you're constantly stressed, anxious, living in survival mode,
Fight or flight.
yeah, or freeze,
Right.
Your body is tense, breathing is shallow, you're hypervigilant. In that state, your system might actually perceive something like sudden abundance or a big life change as a threat. It's too much, too fast, too different.
Wow. So even if you consciously want it, your body might resist it.
Subconsciously, yes, because safety comes first. So having a regulated, calm nervous system, feeling safe in your body is actually fundamental to being able to receive the good things you're trying to manifest.
That connects the law of attraction directly to our biology.
Absolutely. It means practices that calm the nervous system, breath work, grounding, maybe even trauma healing if that's needed, aren't just nice to haves. They are essential pieces of the manifestation puzzle.
Creating that inner safety to receive.
Exactly. So it all comes back to alignment, doesn't it? Aligning thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and your physical state, your nervous system.
Okay. This is making a lot more sense. It's complex, but the pieces fit together. So let's get practical again. We've talked about why it works and why it might not work. What are some concrete tools people can use to cultivate this alignment?
Right. Let's summarize some actionable tools, blending the science and the spirit. We've mentioned mantra and meditation quite a bit.
Yes. Chanting specific sounds like Shreem for abundance or Aham Brahmasmi.
I am the universe, which is a powerful way to shift your self-concept. And we know scientifically, chanting helps slow brain waves, sync the brain hemispheres, get you into those receptive alpha and theta states.
Okay. What else?
Future memory. This is a technique often associated with Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Future memory. How does that work?
You vividly imagine your desired future as if it has already happened. You don't just think about it, you feel the emotions of it. What does it feel like to have that relationship, that success, that health? You immerse yourself in that feeling state.
So you're creating the memory in advance, imprinting it.
Exactly. You're teaching your body emotionally what that future feels like, creating that magnetic coherence we talked about.
That sounds powerful.
It can be. Then there's Yoga Nidra with Sankalpa.
We touched on this, the deep relaxation practice.
Right. It reliably guides you into those theta states where the subconscious is open. And that's a perfect time to plant your Sankalpa, your clear, heartfelt intention. It goes right in, bypassing the usual mental chatter.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Yes, and it's crucial. conscious action.
Ah. You can't just sit and visualize, right?
Not usually, no. Manifestation isn't passive. Taking aligned action steps, even small ones, signals to yourself and to the universe that you believe this is happening. You're meeting the possibility halfway.
Energy loves movement, as the source said.
Exactly. It's about embodying the belief through action. It closes the loop between inner intention and outer reality.
Okay, so mantra, future memory, yoga nidra with Sankalpa, and conscious action. A good toolkit.
A very good toolkit for cultivating that alignment.
So let's circle back to the big question we started with. Does manifestation really work? What's the final verdict from this deep dive?
I think the clear answer is yes, it does work. But maybe not in the simplistic overnight, just think positive way it's sometimes portrayed.
It's not magic beans.
Definitely not magic beans. It works when it's understood as a process of alignment, deep alignment.
Emotional, mental, energetic tuning.
Yes. Tuning yourself to the frequency of the reality you desire. It's about understanding how your brain filters things with the RAS, how neuroplasticity lets you rewire limiting beliefs, how your emotions impact your biology via epigenetics,
How intention might interact with reality at a quantum level.
and how ancient wisdom, like the Vedas, understood these principles of consciousness and resonance thousands of years ago.
So it's less about wishing and more about becoming.
That's a great way to put it. It shifts the focus from getting something out there to being the person who naturally resonates with that experience.
Which leads to maybe the most profound idea in all this.
Which is,
That we're not just trying to make manifestation work, we are manifesting all the time, consciously or unconsciously.
exactly. We are the universe experiencing itself, projecting, receiving, creating constantly. We can't not manifest.
Right.
The only question is, how consciously are we doing it? How aware are we of the power we have to shape our reality through our inner state?
So the real work isn't just about techniques. It's about increasing that conscious awareness.
Becoming more conscious creators.
Okay, so for everyone listening, the takeaway isn't just go make a vision board, though maybe that helps focus attention, but it's deeper.
Much deeper. It's about doing the inner work. Align your thoughts, cultivate the emotions, clear the subconscious blocks, regulate your nervous system.
Embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Yes, embody it, radiate it, and then trust or know that the outer world, the mirror, will eventually reflect that inner truth back to you.
It's a practice of conscious creation.
That's it perfectly. A practice of conscious creation.